Emma had always been an adventurous spirit. Ever since she was a child, she loved the idea of being surrounded by nature, away from the chaos of the city. So, when she finally had a weekend free, she decided to go on a solo camping trip deep in the forest. It was supposed to be a peaceful getaway, a chance to disconnect and enjoy the serenity of the wild. But Emma had no idea that this trip would test her courage in ways she had never imagined. She arrived at the edge of the forest just as the sun was beginning to set. With her backpack filled with essentials, she walked along a narrow dirt path, the sound of rustling leaves and distant bird calls accompanying her every step. The deeper she ventured, the more isolated she felt. There was something eerily beautiful about the dense trees and the way the fading sunlight painted the sky in hues of orange and purple. After an hour of trekking, she found the perfect spot, a small clearing surrounded by towering pines. She quickly set up her tent, gathered some firewood, and started a small fire. As the flames flickered, she sat back, sipping on a cup of warm tea, feeling a sense of accomplishment. The tranquility of the forest was exactly what she had been craving. But as the night deepened, an unsettling feeling began to creep in. The sounds of nature, once soothing, now felt amplified in the darkness. Twigs snapped in the distance. Was it just an animal? The wind? Or something else? Emma shook off the paranoia, convincing herself that she was overthinking. Suddenly, a chilling howl echoed through the trees. Her heart pounded. Wolves? She had researched the area before coming and knew that there were no wolves in this part of the forest. Yet, the sound was unmistakable. She grabbed her flashlight and scanned the area beyond her campsite. Nothing. Then, she heard it. A whisper, almost too faint to be real. Emma. The voice was soft, eerie, and seemed to come from the darkness beyond the trees. Her breath hitched. She knew she was alone, or at least she thought she was. Panic set in. She quickly doused the fire, plunging the area into near-complete darkness except for the dim light of her flashlight. Her hands trembled as she gripped the handle of the survival knife she had brought along just in case. Then, footsteps. Slow, deliberate, crunching on the fallen leaves. Someone, or something, was out there. Emma's mind raced. Could it be a wild animal? A person? A trick of her imagination? She backed up slowly toward her tent, contemplating whether to run or stay put. But before she could decide, a shadowy figure emerged from the trees. Her breath caught in her throat. It was a man, tall and rugged, his face partially hidden by the darkness. "Are you lost?" he asked, his voice calm, almost too calm. Emma didn't answer. Every instinct screamed at her to run, but she was frozen in place. The man took a step closer. "You shouldn't be here alone. It's dangerous." With a sudden burst of adrenaline, Emma bolted. She ran through the forest, her flashlight bouncing wildly, illuminating the trees for split seconds before plunging her back into darkness. She could hear footsteps behind her, fast and determined. Branches scratched at her arms and face, but she didn't stop. Her lungs burned as she pushed forward. Suddenly, her foot caught on a root, and she tumbled forward, hitting the ground hard. The flashlight flew from her grasp, rolling a few feet away and casting a slanted beam of light. She scrambled to grab it, turning just in time to see the man standing a few feet away, watching her. "You shouldn't have run," he said, his voice devoid of emotion. Emma clenched her knife, her breath coming in ragged gasps. "Stay away from me!" she screamed. The man took another step forward, but then something unexpected happened. A deep, guttural growl came from the darkness behind him. His head snapped around, and his posture stiffened. Emma took the chance to scramble to her feet and run in the opposite direction. She didn't look back. She ran until she found the dirt path again, her legs barely holding her up. The growling and the man's presence had vanished into the distance, but the fear still gripped her like a vice. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, she reached her car. She fumbled for the keys, her hands shaking uncontrollably. Once inside, she locked the doors, started the engine, and sped away from the forest without looking back. Emma never went camping alone again.